Hello and welcome to the weather update. It's April 12th, 2020. It's about 6 p.m. Just a little look at the skies today. Had some interesting cloud formations in the sky there. There's another one you can look at here. Some altocumulus. They call this like a mackerel sky, I think. But that means that we are having when you have these interesting cloud formations, it usually means that a storm is on the way. And sure enough, that's exactly what's happening. So, you could see we're under a high wind warning now. A high wind warning, and the damaging wind gusts are possible tomorrow on Monday. And this is going to be quite so. We have a high wind warning in effect from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. for your Monday. And south winds 35 to 45 miles an hour. That's sustained with gusts up to 65 miles an hour. So this could be widespread power outages are expected. There could also be some coastal flooding from these high winds on the south shore with that south wind. And it's really going to be one hell of a storm tomorrow. This could be the highest wind event we've seen since Sandy, perhaps. We're seeing more and more of these kind of storms, and this is all part of, the effects of the climate change that we are going through. So we'll first start off with the current weather. First we're going to look at yesterday's weather, and we're going to go look at the high-resolution satellite for that, because yesterday was very nice. So here is what the skies looked like across our area. Some patchy cumulus, a lot of it over Connecticut and a little more over New Jersey. But for Long Island, for the most part, we just had some patchy clouds. I was going on a hike yesterday. You'll see my other video where I was hiking out in Sears Bellows Park, which is over here. So we had maybe a patchy cloud or two, but it was pretty nice, beautiful sky, nice breeze, very refreshing. You might have heard the wind in there. The wind was blowing pretty hard. But right now, if we are to look at the satellite, you will see that we have a lot more clouds moving in. We've had some patches of blue sky, some altocumulus around, and here is the storm that is heading our way. So next we will go and look at the temperatures across our area. You'll see Central Park is 62. If we go and look at use this map here. So you see, first of all, that this storm is creating a lot of activity. We have winter storm warnings in effect for Wisconsin, where they're going to be getting snow on the back side of this storm. And then we have these look like freeze warnings over here and other high wind advisories over here. And then we have severe weather in the south. Again, severe weather in the south. Red flag warning over here for part of Texas. And and then you can see that high wind warning in effect for our area here. That's the orange color right here is the high wind warning. So looking at the temperatures across our area, you will see here that we have a big variation. On Long Island, the winds are already picking up from the south. That's giving us a nice sea breeze, where temperatures have dropped into the mid-50s on the island. But if you go in New Jersey, you're more like in the mid-60s, a lot warmer, and parts of the city too. So you have that nice breeze coming in off the ocean and giving us, coming in, giving us that relief. Whereas in New Jersey, it's a lot warmer, and you can see that on here even more so here on the one to ground site, where you'll see here temperatures on the island generally in the mid 50s, and in New Jersey a lot warmer again, because it looks like there is a little bit of a sea breeze that's tried to develop along the Jersey shore, but you can see temperatures almost close to 70 around Philadelphia. So let's look at some of the observations from the National Weather Service here. 57 at Farmingdale, so you see the south wind at 14 gusting to 23. And we got up to 60 at Farmingdale today. So we got up to 60 degrees at Farmingdale. Let's see what it hit a little further out east at West Hampton. Probably even cooler there. It's 52 at West Hampton right now. 57 was the high at West Hampton. Now we're going to go look at Central Park and see what the high is in New York City. Right, and you can see it's a lot warmer there. So, alright, it didn't really register the high yet. It says 62 right now, so we'll look at Toms River. So Mount Holly 67, Toms River 61. Let's see what it got up to there. 66 was the high at Toms River. So it got into the mid 60s. A lot warmer in Jersey than it was here. Not now. So this we're gonna have some, and let's look at the radar here. There's some. This probably isn't even reaching the ground, but we're gonna be seeing some pretty substantial wind over the next couple of days. Now I want to just take a wider look at the radar, and let's go and look at the New York radar. Well, this is the longer range radar from the AccuWeather, and just to show you what's happening with this whole storm. Just to show you the whole storm here. All right, this is New York here, so not a whole lot going on here in our area, but look at this. This is the storm right here. This is what's all heading our way, and you can see all the severe weather here, and there are tornado warnings. You noticed on the map there. There are tornado warnings now for parts of Alabama and Mississippi. So this is the storm that we're dealing with, and this piece right here is the piece that's going to be heading our way. You can see on the back side of it, there is snow, snow into Minnesota and Wisconsin over here. So the storm is a pretty intense storm that will be hitting us. So let's go and look at the models and see exactly how this thing is going to be shaping up. I'm going to first start with the GFS here, and here's the high pressure here that's offshore now, and here's the low, and you have an intense low and a strong high, and in between the two you're going to have a lot of wind. And so we're going to have a very strong LLJ that's going to come on. So here's the low. It's tracking up to our west through the Great Lakes. Look at how tight those isobars are over us. And that storm tracks well to the west of us, so we are all in the warm air, and we're going to be getting a lot of that warm air. So let's get a little closer to our area so you can see exactly how the effects are going to be felt over our area. So again, there's the low. You can see those very tight isobars tomorrow, and that means strong winds and very heavy rain. And if we were to look at the amount of rain we're going to see tomorrow, we're going to be seeing, let's see, total accumulated precipitation. We could be seeing an inch or more of rain, depending on where the heaviest rain falls. You know, it's going to be depending on where those heaviest thunderstorms pop up. So let's go back to this look here. So you can see that it moves out, but this LLJ is going to be very intense. So I want to show you the dew points too, because there's going to be a lot of humidity coming up with this. And you can see, if you look close, look at these look at all the lines on these wind barbs here. You can see that'll show you that very strong southerly low-level jet, transporting a lot of humidity into the air. So let's put this on here, and we'll draw to show you what's going to be happening for tomorrow. So we have this, what you call LLJ, that is going to be coming up here. So this comes right from the tropics, right into our area. All right, so this is going to be like a tropical storm, or maybe even hurricane conditions in some areas with some of these wind gusts. And some of these models are downright scary when you look at them, for sure. Really not a good situation at all to deal with. And you see there's those dew points, and then you see that front, the cold front, the very strong cold front will move through probably around 7 o'clock or so. If we were to look at the actual temperatures here, some areas we will also be quite warm with this. So this is some really tropical air that's coming up. So temperatures are going to get well into the 60s, maybe even near 70, right ahead of the cold front. I wouldn't even be surprised if it winds up getting up close to 70 degrees. And again, this is all because of where the air is coming from. If we were to pull this out to the CONUS view, well, we can pull this to the eastern U.S. view. This air is coming right up from the tropics. It's coming right up from the tropics. So literally right off the tropical ocean, the air is coming right up into our area. And so this is very disturbing to see, obviously. Not something that's supposed to happen. But you have warmer than normal ocean temperatures, so you have that much more moisture and more energy into the air being added. And that's why we're going to be seeing this really intense event tomorrow. That's maybe one for the record books as far as I'm concerned. So we'll go ahead and look at the NAM model. I'll use the 12 kilometer. We'll start with the 12 kilometer. Hopefully I have enough of it. I have 27 hours, so it should be enough for this. Again, these are the 18Z runs. So we're going to go here and look at the rain again. Show you when we pull this back here. So the rain is going to start, and it's going to be a pretty steady rain, probably sometime after midnight or so. And that rain is going to continue right through the morning and be heavy at times, very wind driven. And then this right here, right around 4 or 5 o'clock, this is when we might see our strongest winds with that line of severe thunderstorms ahead of the cold front that is going to be forming. And this looks quite a line that's going to be forming here. Let me look at the total accumulated precip on the NAM. And the NAM's even more generous. Maybe gives a lot of areas closer to 2 inches. So, and I'm leaning more toward the NAM, given the nature of this air mass is very juiced up air mass. Really something. So I want to just look at the higher resolution NAM. So usually this will show up thunderstorms better. So you can see there's that line. Actually, there it is, right there. It's weird. That one looks completely different. But you could see that there's a lot of reds popping up, a lot of heavy cells popping up. And with these heavy cells, you can bring some really strong winds down. Even stronger than the winds we're going to see at the surface. So I'm going to take a look at the wind direction now. So let's, well, again, we're going to also look at the dew point just to show you, again, those really high dew points that are going to be coming into the area. This is the dew points on the NAM, and the dew points are even winding up close to 70 in parts of New Jersey. Again, that air is traveling over the cooler ocean, the cooler inshore ocean, which is cooling it down. But there's some very warm water in this area, and that's what's going to help contribute to this. So without further ado, let's go look at the winds, and this is where it gets scary. So here are the winds. I'm going to put this on the 12-kilometer one so you can see exactly the kind of wind we're dealing with. Look at this. This is sustained winds, oranges and reds over Long Island in the afternoon. These are sustained winds around 30 to 40 miles an hour. So we're talking tropical storm type conditions, and that's why we have the high wind warning in effect. And there are going to be a lot of power outages. Now the high winds, it looks like they do move out of the area by, this is a little more quicker and moves the worst of the wind out by, I would say, 5 o'clock or so. But that early afternoon time frame, at least the NAM is saying, is going to be the worst. It's going to be one hell of a storm, and the wind is going to be very intense to deal with. What can I tell you? Going to be a lot of power outages for sure. So let's go look at windy.com, and we're going to look at this is based on the Euro, and I think the Euro has the most impressive winds of them all. So and the Euro is, so right now it doesn't look too bad, but if we move it along to 5 a.m. tomorrow, still doesn't look too bad. Let's move it off to 11 a.m. Now things get worse, and we're looking at sustained winds here near 30 miles an hour at 11 a.m. But then when we get to early afternoon, it's even going to get worse than that. So sustained winds nearing 40 miles an hour in many areas. 4 p.m., we're still seeing those sustained winds very strong. And then 6 p.m., we see it drop off. So the worst of it looks like it's going to be hitting in the afternoon as far as the wind goes. But here's the thing. When we move this over and look at the wind gusts, this is where it gets scary. So wind gusts around 10 a.m. already near 60 miles an hour. We're talking near hurricanes. 1 p.m., look at this, 73-mile-an-hour gusts in central Nassau around 2 p.m. These are the kind of gusts that, and I'm going to have to show you the storm. I will have to actually go out there and show it to you. 75 miles an hour. This is going to be like a hurricane. And we're going to see, I think we're going to see 100 to 200,000 power outages on Long Island. I think a quarter of the people on Long Island are going to have some type of interruption in power tomorrow. That's how bad these winds are going to be. There's going to be lots of trees down. And I'm sure that the media is not going to talk about it. They need to talk about it because this is unbelievable. So you can see the sharp drop-off. This is the 8 p.m., 9 p.m. So you can see that by 8 p.m., 9 p.m., the strongest winds are now starting to leave Long Island. But my gosh, this was incredible wind speeds for us. Just incredible wind speeds. I mean, these are gusts. Now, here's the thing. Let's push this up a little bit here. I believe this has where is the meter to tell us how far up we are? It's usually a thing here that will usually tell us. Oh, no, maybe it doesn't do that with the wind gusts. Yeah, here we go. So we're looking again at the sustained winds, all right, 1 p.m. So we're going to the surface. Let's just go a little bit above the surface. So just above the surface, we have sustained winds 50 miles an hour. All right, this is just above the surface. This is about 100 meters up. All right, let's go a little higher, 950. This is 2,000 feet. All right, I'll use this. 2,000 feet tomorrow. We're going to have wind speeds, sustained hurricane force, Category 1 hurricane force. All right, so this is going to be a very devastating storm tomorrow. With all that we're going through, we are going to have the equivalent of a hurricane tomorrow. I'm going to say it right here. That's what I think we're going to have, the equivalent of a hurricane tomorrow with these winds. It's going to be that bad, and if we, all it takes is these thunderstorms to bring that wind down. It's going to be one hell of a storm to watch for sure. Looking at the waves are going to be very high too. See, it's 2 p.m. We have 15-foot waves off the south shore, 14-foot waves. There's going to be a lot of coastal flooding on the south shore. Here, nearly 20 feet, 20-foot waves at 5 p.m. in certain areas. So this is what we're going to be dealing with tomorrow. This is going to be a very serious storm, and this is all because of the added energy in the atmosphere due to climate change. So the last part of this video, I will be showing you earthandoilschool.net. Oh, you know what? No, not yet. I want to go back to here for a minute. I want to show you the temperatures as well. So, and then we'll go to earthandoilschool.net. So this is, let's put this at 1 p.m. tomorrow. So you see Long Island, we're going to have that, the cooler ocean waters just to the south of Long Island, keep the temperatures cooler in the mid-50s. Jersey is going to be well into the mid-60s. These dew points, though, are going to be up there. So if we look at these dew points, I mean, we have dew points that are like typical for summertime, dew points in the 60s in many areas. Long Island will probably be a little lower, but with New Jersey is going to be a lot more sultry. All right, earthandoilschool.net, let's go there. And I'll show you why we're seeing this again. Because if we go and we look at the ocean temperature anomalies, the sea surface temperature anomalies, they are huge. All right, so if we go to the ocean, sea surface temperature anomalies, you can see here that we have huge anomalies. And you have some anomalies in the Atlantic, but the Gulf of Mexico, I think this is where a lot of the energy for this storm is coming from. The Gulf of Mexico, we have anomalies of, let's see here, let's say. This is 3.8 degrees Celsius above normal. So let's just change that to Fahrenheit. So 7 degrees above normal. 7 degrees above normal, the water temperature is here. And there are certain areas off the East Coast where, oh, look at this. This one's even more. So there's an area off the East Coast where water temperatures are 12, almost 13 degrees Fahrenheit above normal. That is what fuels these storms. Just because right now we're burning a lot less fossil fuel does not mean that this just stops. It doesn't stop. We may have cleaner air right now, but the effects from all the global warming gases in the air are continuing. And actually, because there are less clouds for a while, they might even get amplified. So 75-degree water temperatures about 130 miles off the Delmarva, which is crazy when you think about it. When you go closer to shore, it's 46. But if we go into the Gulf of Mexico, look at that. Already, water temperatures at 80 degrees in certain areas. That's enough to support a hurricane. So this is what we're going to be dealing with. A very severe wind event tomorrow, and I'm sure the news is not going to be talking about it. And they really should be, because we could see widespread, with all that's going on, we're going to see widespread power outages tomorrow for sure, and probably suspensions of train service as power lines and trees come down across the tracks as we deal with this hurricane in April. That's what I'm going to call it. So with that wraps up this weather update. I'm going to keep you posted on this storm for sure as long as I can. Thank you for watching, and be safe.